everyone. Welcome to the monthly What's New in AWS presented by Enterprise Support. Happy Friday. I might welcome my co-host on today, Tom. Tom, how you doing?
Hey, Matt. How are you doing?
Ha-
Very good, very good.
I'm
Yeah.
very good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. How's your week going, Tom?
Uh, Pretty packed and some AI ML engagement with customer, pretty joyful week and busy at customers engagement as well. Yeah. Yeah. What
Awesome,
about
awesome.
you?
Yeah, this week's been a lot of fun for me. Been very similar to you actually. Gen AI has been very topical. A lot of
Oh,
customers talking about Gen AI. So you've got
I
some
see.
some yeah, you've got a very special guest for us today, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. We have like Baichuan and can't wait for this section to talk about generative AI stuff. Yeah. Hi, Baichuan. Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
Vaishwan. For everyone who hasn't seen Vaishwan before, and you probably have, he's one of our specialist SAs that specializes in Gen AI and LLMs. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, really excited to see what you guys are going to talk about today. Can you give me
Yeah.
a bit of a teaser before you jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, sure. Thanks, Matthew and Tom. Yeah, Tom, you can start.
I think like Matt already did a fantastic intro, but about you, but maybe I leave it to you to talk about you, do a big quick intro about yourself and particularly your focus area also. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Hi, I'm Baichuan, a senior AI/ML specialist solution architect working at Amazon Web Services, and I worked for Amazon for almost 4 years. Start from end of last year, as everybody is, start to focus more on the generative AI, and yeah, glad to be here and share with everyone about what's new happening in the field and also on the AWS.
Yeah. Awesome. Super excited. And maybe we can jump into the AI section now, or like I do have a quick question too, Matt. Like
Yeah, shoot.
we've been miss you for a while, and given that you've been like disappear, I know
I
that you're busy. Would you like to share a bit like what did you like any special thing you done like in the last couple of months? Yeah.
I will happily share it. I've actually been on leave for the last couple of months. I haven't been on
Wow.
leave for the entire time. I just been taking a couple of weeks off with some breaks in the middle, and
Yeah.
as timing would have it, it just happened to always fall on the times when we were doing our live stream. So um, I
Gotcha.
was
Gotcha.
um, I was super sad to miss out, but I do promise I was tuning in when
Yeah.
I was on the
Awesome.
beach in Bali and while I was over in the US as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
didn't miss the fun. I just wasn't able to be part of it that time.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Great to have you back, and look forward for
Thank
more.
you. No,
Yeah.
it's good to be back.
Yeah, awesome. Now maybe we jump straight for the AI ML section now. Great. Bytron, now it's just you and me on the stage. I do have a few more questions to ask before we jump on to today's topic. Would you mind to share a bit funny thing that people like may not know about you? Yeah?
Yeah, sure. So whenever I sign my name or signature, I don't use any of my initials. Definitely not the full initials, as you can say
Oh,
why. Yeah,
SB, right? Is it?
especially yeah, no, BS and SBI,
BS.
both of them. Yeah, none of them
Oh,
work for me.
yeah.
Yeah, so I have
SB,
take my time.
SB like, because you and myself are Chinese, SB have a special meaning. Like
Oh yeah,
basically for people are not sure about that, SB is a abbreviation for something like
yeah,
equal to being stupid. But I doubt that I doubt that for you because you're super smart. And BS is another one, right? Yeah. But no problem. Yeah, it's easy to pick up. And yeah, thanks for that. It's super interesting. Um, yeah, I understand that like your focus area is on generative AI. And I want to give a bit of like understanding, like what do you see as the trending on a customer regarding adopting generative AI in the field? Yeah.
yeah. Good question. Actually, we can sense the trend of the generative AI in general is getting faster and faster. Pretty much, if I don't know if Tom, you follow the on the social media, but pretty much every day there are so many things get released, and
Yeah.
you run out of the likes on these posts on the social
Okay.
media. Yeah,
I hear you.
but
Yeah,
right.
I bet I'm kind of like a snail on that path, but well, will try my best. Yeah, indeed, I totally agree with you. And what do you see on some sort of typical common use case? Would you like to give us like one or two regarding on adopting generative AI for our customer?
Yeah, absolutely. I think two things. First one is more and more customer would like to understand how to use their own proprietary knowledge or data so that the generative AI makes more sense to them, more relevant to them. As we all know, the foundation models are pretty much trained on the common sense data set that is publicly available with no license issues. But for different customers in different areas, that means the foundation model pre-trained may be still irrelevant to their daily work. So they were thinking about how to make their data work. One of the techniques is retrieval augmented generation, right? Everybody is talking about AWS and the community. We have many different tools to enable you to do that.
Yeah.
Another is to drive, boost the productivity of the individuals. Also, I don't know, Tom, how many Slack messages you receive on daily average, how many emails you have to read and reply on daily average. A large portion of the tasks can be automated, possibly by bots. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So so that's something possibly we can talk a little bit more today about the automated decision maker by the models.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting topic. I would like to learn more. So is it kind of related to the demo you prepared today?
Yes,
Awesome.
Today we like to demonstrate how to use the language model as a decision maker so that it can give a certain task. It can choose what steps to take and how to achieve the objective.
Gotcha. So this is kind of related to the common or typical use case that potentially you can automate some tasks, some human tasks with LLM power like applications, right? And
Exactly.
I see a diagram being listed in here. Like, would you like to help us understand like what's this diagram for and like why it is kind of important on that use case? Yeah.
Sure. This diagram goes from the left to right, unlike some other diagram. It may go from right to the left or go from top to the bottom. Just let's align on that. This diagram go from the left to the right. You start with the user. The user may have some instructions. They give maybe it's about to achieve certain goals or do something and pass this instruction as a prompt, which is a piece of the text into the language model. Then the language model can use its memory or knowledge pre-trained based on the large massive amount of data set to decide how to achieve this mission or how to achieve this objective. It also provide the language model with different tools, different interface. The tools can be a calculator, can be a computer, can be the engine, can be the internet, can be a camera, can be an earphone, can be anything. So the language model will need to make decision which tool to use under different steps. So it's very to how human would perform given a certain task.
Oh, gotcha. That sounds like very familiar to me. Like on a daily basis, if I want to do some tasks, potentially I may interact with multiple systems, collect some information, and wrote out the reasoning and step also. Is it something like that? Yeah.
Exactly identical to that.
Okay, gotcha. And I want to clarify that maybe the instruction is related to sending the prompt. Like nowadays is quite common. Like we put like instruction or prompting to LM. Is it related to? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank
For
you.
instance, say what is the Tom's birthday? Then the language model will need to figure out, the first step I need to figure out who Tom is, maybe. It will go to the internet, then find the Tom's profile. Then next step is, I need to identify Tom's birthday from this profile. Of course, if you provide this information there, it will leverage. Otherwise, it will have to figure out something. Other steps, maybe give Tom a call. Hey, Tom, what is your birthday? Someone is asking.
Yeah. I think that this example is so interesting and it can be very helpful for us to understand what underneath is doing. Like my my understanding is because I'm not like celebrity, my information wouldn't be used for like training a large language model. So I can't just ask the question to language model and expect that you can give me the answer, right? Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's why you have access to the tools and have
mm,
access to the knowledge bases.
so in that scenario, that sounds like what's the LM agent's role play here? It's like how important it is like in the overall flow.
Yeah, I think it's as a hub from for the human is agents who
Mm,
can serve you, help you to
mm,
automate certain tasks. You can
mm,
do something else while it's doing that.
mm,
In terms of the task, then it becomes deliver, and it
mm.
can also do the reasoning and
Yeah,
take certain actions and
yeah.
observe the result from that, then make
Mm,
the decision about what to do next. In that
gotcha.
sense, it becomes a task orchestrator and to figure
Okay.
out what to do at when.
Okay. So in the example you just mentioned, imagine that by Chuan, you are the agent. If I ask you a question, what's my birthday? So, you, like what you mentioned, what will you do then? I know that you just
Oh,
mentioned a bit. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I search online first. See if you
Okay.
provide your information anywhere, any
Okay.
social media. If not available, I may call you. If
Yeah.
you don't answer my phone call, I maybe find another tool. Maybe it's an airplane flight to Sydney, knock on your door. Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
thank you for that.
different steps I can do.
You make me feel very special now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you are
And
very special.
yeah, I think that's a very good example. Like it's working like the orchestration and like the brain to find out something and like achieve the task for the ask from a user. Ah, thank you for that. That really help us understand it. Yeah. And I know that like I see that the colors on the on the architecture diagram is a bit special. That some been highlighted, some not. Like, would you help us understand like what's the meaning on that?
Sure. So today I'd like to demo, quick demo some of the key components. For the
Gotcha.
limited time, we may not demonstrate everything. It is
Mm,
possible. AWS
mm,
has different technology help you to do that. But today in the
mm.
demo, to understand this, we want to focus on the how human provide instruction and how language model making the decisions and how to provide the right tool to it to make it
Okay.
available for the language model to use.
Okay. So the highlighted one are just the one our example will or our demo will cover today. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Thank you for that. Okay, everyone can't
Take your
wait
time.
to see the demo now. Like let's um let's go for it then.
Sure. Thank you. For folks that haven't dealt with the program or Python before, you can ignore the first several lines.
Yeah,
Basically, just install the tool, the package. By the way, I'm
gotcha.
in the UI of the SageMaker Studio, which is
Okay.
online cloud-based IDE.
Mm,
Here we use a package called Longchain, which is a
yeah.
super popular
Yeah, by
experimental
the way,
package.
for audience benefit, like the environment is basically a Jupyter notebook. Pretty much is a very common toolkit for data scientists to interact with, the data, the language model. So yeah. So keep moving. I just want to help the audience understand a bit what toolkit you're
No
using.
worries. No worries.
Cool.
Maybe take the opportunity to introduce a little bit of the Jumpstart.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
UI, you can click the home and go to Jumpstart, click the model notebooks. Once you
Mm-hmm.
do that, there are a whole area of the language models or other
Mm,
models available for you. Today, we're
mm.
gonna use the Faircon model for the billing, predefined through the Jumpstart.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Gotcha.
click the buttons to deploy model.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm
Gotcha.
having, for instance, this one, you can click deploy, and we'll make
Yeah.
it available for you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So this step, I had already predefined and pre-deployed the model on SageMaker through Jumpstart. So I will just use that.
What's the model? What's the model you deploy? Is it like Falcon 40 or
Yes.
Falcon like 7B or 40
It's
or
a
40B?
Falcon 48 billing. Yeah. This is the
Okay.
number of the parameters, number has the model has. The larger the
Yeah.
number is, the larger the model is, more capable it is.
Yeah, the parameter.
Recently, Yeah, recently Falcon released a 180 billion model. Feel free to try out from Jumpstart. It's made available this week. That's why we
Gotcha.
say things are moving fast.
Awesome.
All right, so next step, we import the Amazon API gateway from the Longchain integration. Actually, we developed this module and merged it back to Longchain ourselves.
So
For
we
this
are
one,
kind of quick question here. The way we use API gateway is like we expose the inferencing endpoint from the deployed Falcon model. Is it the
yes.
case?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
the Falcon model is deployed in the SageMaker endpoint. To directly use that, you will need to set up your AWS IAM roles, give you permission to trigger the endpoint. Nowadays, customers are in the demand of a more convenient way to interact with the language models, as we can understand. They want to use the API. Therefore, we deployed, Amazon has this service for a really long time, so we can deploy behind the API gateway. So you can just use it in the same way, call API, pass the security tokens, then you get the result back from the model.
Gotcha.
Cool. I had already set it up, so I just want to test everything works. I give it a prompt, give this model a prompt. Say what day comes after Friday. It should give the same answer that Tom, you would give. It should be a Saturday. Is it Saturday after Friday, Tom?
So I think so, but like just back to that, like maybe it's good to help our audience understand like the message we send is actually a question right here. Is like you ask Falcon model a question, and this question, is it? I heard a name like sort of zero shot, few shot. Like what types of these prompts look like and how they play, how it works. Yeah.
Sure. This is considered zero shot because you are not giving any examples. You just ask one question without giving some examples. If you provide examples, then it becomes if you provide one example, that's one shot. Two examples, that's two shots. For instance, what day comes after Saturday? Here in your prompt, you say Saturday. Then you ask again, what day comes after Monday? Then you ask this question, this becomes one shot. Actually, it's not a very good example because whether it's Saturday or Monday is not logically relevant.
Yeah.
But in your case, you can provide examples.
Gotcha. I see that the model response is Tuesday. Like definitely, it kind of clarify those like factual questions, sort of like.
Yes, because it's a common sense. Very likely, the model has already been pre-trained with this. But if you have specific tasks, I can give examples to that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that we can move on. Like, can't wait to see what you build.
Sure. Let's play with the agent, which is a language model performing a different task. Instead of just outputting the text, it outputting some logical reasoning steps. Here we set up the agent from the Longchain. I don't have to worry about that. We have learning resources available for you to deep dive. Today we can just focus on the use case.
Okay, but overall, could you give a quick highlight, like what parameters mean here? Like,
Sure. Parameters is the way to control the output behavior of the large language model. Let's say the first one is max the new token. The larger this one is, the more chatty the model can be. The smaller, the smaller number will make the model more concise. Number of returned sequence, the model can try to output multiple answers to the same question. Here we don't want to do that. We just set it to one. Top K and top P is basically help you to sample from all the, let's say, English dictionary, how many top likely words to be picked from. If you want to set a very large number, then the model will try to do the sample from the number of the English word. To speed up the process, we want to give a small number. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds very statistical. I mean, type of parameter. One thing, last question on the parameter. What temperature means here? Like, looks like.
Glad you asked, Tom. Temperature. This meaning is borrowed from the another curriculum of science from the thermodynamics. So you can, the distribution. When scientists studied the performance of molecular, system, the higher temperature, the distribution of the molecular velocity will be more evenly distributed. That means more. That means more. Every English word, in this case, English word will be considered molecular, will be likely to be picked up. However, if the temperature is low, that means only a small portion of the English word or the English word has the probability to be picked up. So if you want your language model to be creative, you want to increase the temperature to heat it up. If you want doing some more scientific questions, you want the temperature to be low, so your answer be more consistent.
What's the value range for that? Like, is it 0.1 high or low in a sense?
Okay, that's a very good question. That depends on the model provider. So however they trained the model, the best way to figure that out is to check the model provider's documentation. From the jumpstart, as mentioned, they have the notebook. You can click that button. There is very comprehensive descriptions for the parameters available.
Okay. Thanks for pointing out that. Yeah. For people interested in knowing more the parameter, may click the notebook to check out the explanation. Then let's move on. Okay.
Sure. Here I give some sample tasks. Maybe I'll ask you, Tom. You have 1 second to think. What is
1 second?
1 second to think. 2.3 raised the power to 4.5. What's the value?
Oh, my answer will be shift enter to get the result from the code cell execution. I can't do that calculation that fast, man. Yeah.
All right. If you have more time, what would you do?
Oh, I would draw. I can use a calculator on my laptop, or I would pull a paper and then doing my math calculation. Yeah, I enjoy the later one though. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's have a look. Actually, the model is doing the same thing. If we feed the language model with this prompt, the language model will just forced to give an answer. Let's see if I get it correct. It says that 10.5 is nowhere near with the ground truth. If Tom, this is something you probably will have to do, right? If you have only 1 second to think and possibly just randomly guess a number.
Yeah, that sounds like the LLM is not very good at doing the calculation like me.
Yeah. As mentioned, people can understand actually the language model is guessing what's the next word to say. I know it should be a number, but it may not be capable to run the calculation. So what's the solution? Solution is same, as you mentioned, Tom. Give it a calculator. Here we load the language math calculator tool from the launcher and make it available for the Falcon model. And let's ask the same question, see what happens. All right, as you can see from the output, the model says it's thinking, I need to use the calculator to find the answer. Oh, it's the same thinking as you, model Tom. You also sort of the same. Then it will start to pick up the calculator and put the math expression into it and get the final answer. And this answer is correct.
Wow, okay. So it looks like the agent is as smart as me. Is it fair to say
right.
so? Okay.
At this stage, I would say at least the agent as smart as me, but maybe someday future, next month, I am as smart as the agent, hopefully.
Okay. Sounds like compliment. Yeah.
Cool. Shall we move on?
Yeah. This one is interesting. I wonder, like, any audience would like to just quickly type in some sort of math calculation, and we can give it a try on the setup by Baichuan now. I'll wait to see are there any.
Yeah, we can come back to that. After we
let's move
show
on
the
first.
next one. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
if you're interested, just post it in Twitch.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what's the next?
Yeah. So next, I want to just say, launching this library extremely flexible and customizable. You can extend it however you like. If from the toolkits Longchain provided, you find there's the gap in terms of what you want to do, you can always write your own tool and feed that into the Longchain. Here, just to give some example. I import some of the packages from the Longchain, don't have to worry about that. So in this case, I define myself 2 different tools. First one is the Python shell. What it does, as you can see here, the description, it's a Python shell. It can execute a Python command.
Okay.
Here, I will pass this to a Python expression, print hello, and it will print out hello.
Okay.
Yeah, this tool enables the agent to write Python program and execute it, and then get the result. That sounds like
cool.
our daily job, right? So,
yeah, indeed. Okay. I like Python. Great
cool.
to know that.
One thing I want to point out is the description. The description is for the large language model to consume and understand what this tool is for. So the more descriptive this description is, the better.
So is it something like giving hints at LM to select the tools?
Yes, because you will give it a different tool, you need to make the decision which tool to use.
Okay. Then the LM is kind of, when you enable, like set up plugging those tools, LM, when it want to, like the agent want to achieve, like do some tasks, it may check against the description to see which tool may be suitable.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We will
that's cool.
do the 2 examples, and you will say whether or not the language model or the agents picking the right tool. Okay.
Yeah.
Second tool is the mathematical calculator. You can input a natural sentence, describe what you want to calculate. Then the calculator will get the result back. So let's pull these 2 together as the toolkit and pass that to the language model. Again, it's the same setting ups. Don't have to worry about the details for now.
The parameter
and we control
setting.
the parameter setting and feed that into the Longchain. Initialize the Longchain. Okay, let's just try to make sure things works. There's no error in the program. There's so many different errors in the program. I want to do the checking. Here, I just do a very simple test again.
You ask the question to language model directly. Is that the case?
That's wrong. Yeah. In this case, it's a hallucinate. I wouldn't know what this one is, right? Now let's say what agent would do. Would it pick up the right tool from a toolkit and do the right thing?
Okay.
Yeah, it figures out I need to calculate the results and picking up the calculator and through this mathematical expression into it, then get the final answer. Still running. This is an observation, and the model will synthesize the results. Actually, it's consistent with the ground truth.
Oh, interesting. So it's kind of, I see some sort of step here. Maybe we clarify a bit, and then we hand over to the next step, the next section. I see in this process, it print out some information, and it sounds like taking step by step, like actions and thoughts and some sort of observation. Can you help us understand that? Like, what does that mean? Like,
sure. Actually, this is prompt engineering. This is known as prompt engineering. In the prompt, the Longchain agent setting up, it will tell the language model take these steps. The first step is think what you need to do next. Then the following step is take the action. The action could be picking up a certain tool or do something. The next line is put the information into that tool. Then get the observations. Here the tool is running the calculation and return the result back. The language model will get the observation, which is answer. The next step is repeat the process. Here is the context. Take a pause and think. Does this answer your question? The language model figure out, I now know the final answer, and it is this number. With this context, the language model will think again. Okay, here is the final result.
Wow, that's so impressive. And bear with me. I saw a question from our audience. They will say the idea is that we are using a model already pre-trained with math and utilize prompt engineering to get the result. Is it the case on our demo?
In this case, no, it don't have to be pre-trained with math. You only need to be pre-trained to know how to break down the certain task and how to pick the right tool. The actual math calculation is done by the calculator. The model don't have to be pre-trained by the for math.
Okay, great. So it sounds like there is some sort of reasoning step, and then it will find out the right tool to tackle those steps. And the result will be taken as like a observation, and then think through the next step, and then continue until they find. Oh, gotcha, gotcha. That's super amazing. I can imagine that this is a great one to making our like IT system super powerful today. Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Okay. Shall we move on to the next example?
Do we? Okay. Yeah. Let's give it a go.
Sure. Okay. So I have a question about the 10th Fibonacci number. Tom. Yeah, Fibonacci. Tom, do you know the result?
I need to get a paper and write it down. I know the first two. I know the roots.
Okay.
Like always do the previous two. Yeah. Always get the previous two sum for the next and start with 1 and 1. Yeah.
What would you do if I say it's the 10,000th of the Fibonacci number? What would you do? Would you still do come on, Tom, you are a programmer, you know?
Okay. Yeah, certainly I can do that like with a Python program. I think so. I think I can do that. Like writing a Python program for that. But easy way will be just for 10, I can write down everything on the paper and doing the calculation though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. The large language model powered agent has finished the task. Let's see the step it took. First step, it says I need to find the 10th Fibonacci number, and it realized it picking up the Python shell and give the Python shell a program. Interestingly, of course, you get an error from the Python shell. Say, oh, this function has not been defined. With this observation, the language model will think again, okay, I need to define this function. Now it starts to write this program to calculate the Fibonacci. Then it get the final results, observe it, and return back to the human.
Wow. Okay. It's writing a program.
Okay. Yeah, writing program, and more importantly, to analyze the error message and figure out what to do next. That is how our job is. 99% of the time is about dealing with error message. I believe that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, I can't agree more. Yeah, bear with me. That is a follow-up question on the one. Like, would it make it reason or more complex contained with the regular model? Like engine values in the center. For that one, I don't quite get it. But I can, yeah. Maybe we quickly. Bertrand, I just pinged you on the private chat. Do you see the questions?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what the question means. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Would it make reason more complex?
Make it reasoned or more complex contained with regular models. Yeah, maybe there are more to clarify on this one before we can answer that. I'm sorry that for audience startup we may not be able to address this one, but really appreciate the question. And if you are our AWS customers, would you mind to reach out to our account team, like the SA or account manager, to have further discussion if you're interested in learning more on this? Yep. And back to the demo, Bytron, you really helped me understand a lot about agent. That's so amazing. Thanks for all the effort putting the demo for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts?
No, for me, just as mentioned, right now the agent is as smart as us. Hopefully someday we can be as smart as the agent. We definitely won't match with the throughput of those models. They can
Okay.
work all the time. We have to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that is really the power of the technology revolution that we are going through at this period of human history.
Thank you. Thanks for
you.
sharing. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Awesome. Thank you. And Maya, would you like to bring up Matt?
Hey Tom, I must say I was following along and
Oh, really?
I got 10.5 for when you guys were doing the maths on that answer, and I was like, oh okay. I wonder what that says about me or whether it says about AI there. But
Okay.
it's very interesting to see the mathematic differences between large language models and the human brain. I've always found that part of this technology very, very unique.
Yeah. Indeed. And it's so amazing to see like how we can build LML agent.
Yeah, the Fibonacci example that you guys went through, I thought was really interesting. How it was trying to leverage something that was already defined, didn't have it, and then it built its own algorithm to effectively get the answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was it opened up a lot of things for me. I can't wait to get stuck into SageMaker and give it a go myself.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, I hand it over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Tom. I might introduce another special guest that we have on today, Rahul Arora from Rahul. How you doing?
Very well, Stan. Thank you.
All right. So, if anyone who hasn't met Rahul, Rahul's one of our technical account managers who looks after some of our New Zealand customers here in ANZ. Rahul, we are going to be covering compute and database today, aren't we?
That's right.
Awesome. I'm looking through our list. What's our number one here that we were just starting with? Compute Optimizer. Did you want to run us through what's been released?
Yeah, of course. And since Stan's like doing the cost optimization for the customers, so that's where probably the first release is. So the first one is the now Compute Optimizer now support the licensing cost optimization for Microsoft SQL Server, and which would mean that it can automatically discover your SQL Server instances on Amazon EC2 by entering workload types. And to receive your licensing recommendations, you can select SQL Server instances in your AWS Compute Optimizer, authenticate CloudWatch application insights with your read-only credentials. And that's when Cloud Optimizer will analyze if you're using SQL Server Enterprise for these features.
Yeah, awesome. Because many of our customers are already using Compute Optimizer, right? They're using it for right-sizing EC2. They're using it to get a better understanding of their fleet. But now with this kind of nudge forward, they're going to get a much deeper understanding of their SQL Server workloads and really looking at putting some pressure down. I can see some notes here just around some of the licensing specific recommendations that Compute Optimizer is now going to provide. Do you have any insights into what that looks like?
Yep. Now the Compute Optimizer can detect whether you're paying for an enterprise license, but you're only using the standard features. And when no enterprise features are used, AWS Compute Optimizer will recommend you downgrade it to standard edition. And that is going to save you SQL Server licensing cost.
Yes, and last time I looked, I won't quote any numbers here, but they were rather a much different price tier between the standard and the enterprise licensing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
awesome,
right.
Awesome. Well, very good. I'm going to keep going down our list because I know we've got a few today.
Sure.
So one that's near and dear to my heart for the next few that we're actually going to talk about is I can see that Lambda's announced support for Graviton 2 now in 6 additional regions. I'm just looking through the release notes. So it looks like Melbourne region now and Hyderabad, as well as a few others, support Graviton 2 now processors for Lambda. This one's pretty interesting to me, and I'll tell you why. I really feel for a lot of our runtimes that support both x86 and support ARM64, moving over and moving off the x86 platform onto ARM really allows our customers to really adopt some of the better price performance characteristics provided by Graviton. To give you an idea too, I mean, I was looking at some of our stats. We're talking 30-40% price performance differences to run quite literally the exact same Lambda functions between the two different platforms, which I think is rather remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, Matt, I see every day that customers are migrating to Graviton. So what kind of migration pathways do you typically see our customers in the Lambda space?
Yeah, it's a good call, Rahul. So if for example we had a customer that was on say an older version of Python, right? Let's just say they're on 3.4, they're running Lambda, and just by the nature of them being on that older version, they're going to be running Amazon Linux 1 and they're going to be on x86. If that customer wants to really look at, all right, how do I not only get off an old version of Python, but how do I move into this new wonderful world of Graviton? Their upgrade path would be multifaceted. So the first thing we'd recommend is to get off 3.4 and move to a later version of Python. So getting up to at least something like 3.7. At the same time, looking at making the switch from Amazon Linux 1 to Amazon Linux 2, which is going to unlock the ARM64 capabilities, which is Graviton. And then lastly, make that final switch, the architectural switch to go from x86 over to ARM64 under the Lambda functions. And that'll get everything moved across in a staged and a bit of a managed process. I probably want to call out too for some of the compiled languages. So obviously not Python, but things such as Rust or Go. There's an additional step in there around recompiling of code to get it across into the new runtime version.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. That sounds pretty reasonable, and looks like this Graviton Lambda is not only going to save the cost, but also the carbon footprint.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we can't really. Everyone these days is talking about sustainability, really being climate conscious, and Graviton's going to give us as well. We're going to talk about it shortly in another section where we're going to talk about some of the new instances we have with the Graviton 3 processors, which is an even bigger shift and an even bigger jump. But before we do, I wanted to talk about, have you had a chance to see and even have a bit of a play with some of our new P5 instances, Rahul?
Yeah, everyone is talking about it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So these are our new P5s. These obviously they supersede the P4s, focused on Gen AI and high-performing HPC, so high-performance compute. They're unlocking access to the NVIDIA H100 GPUs. At a high level, I'll just throw out some numbers. 6 times faster, twice the CPU performance, twice the local disk performance, twice the memory performance. So a pretty substantial jump in performance on those P5s. But practically speaking, what it actually means is ultimately it's going to be a 40% lower cost to train the same LLMs on the new P5 platform, which I think is rather remarkable. The P5s are deployed on ultra clusters. So if anyone's not too familiar with the ultra clusters, but basically that's the ability, that's one of our platforms that we have here at AWS that gives you effectively on-demand access into a supercomputer, which allows you to scale up to almost up to 1,000 GPUs as well. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff coming out in Gen AI and compute space.
Absolutely, these numbers really look impressive.
Yeah, that's right. While we are talking Graviton, maybe just jumping ahead of here as well, I can see we've got some new C7 GDs, some M7 GDs, and some R7 GD instances as well that we've just recently announced.
Right.
So I mean, maybe even just taking a step back, the C7s obviously replaced the C6s, C being compute optimized, R being memory optimized, and M being general purpose as well. The GD is worth mentioning. So the G is our Graviton versions of those instance types, and D also being disk optimized. So if you play it out a little bit, compute optimized on Graviton with some 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 high performance local NVMe disk as well. Looking at the numbers, you can get access to up to 3.8 terabytes of local NVMe SSD on some of these new instances, which I think's a big jump from what we previously had, as well as access to DDR5 on this new version, as well as what I mentioned before, which is this new version. So the new C7s, M7s, and R7 Gravitons are on the Graviton 3 architecture, which is 60% more energy efficient than Graviton 2, which was already very energy efficient.
That's absolutely fantastic. I'm sure, given the price point for the performance, many of our customers will be looking forward to try this.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just a bit of an underlying theme here. If you haven't had a chance to play with Graviton, play with it. It's fast. It uses a lot less power. You still have all the configuration options that you're used to around disk performance and some of the other elements. For example, these instances that we are talking about, they still give you access to 30 gig network and 30 gig storage bandwidth as well. So it's really, providing very, very similar options to what customers are used to in the x86 space.
Thanks, Matt.
While we are talking x86, it's probably also worth mentioning that we have released a new R7. So again, that's our memory optimized R7A instances. So A obviously being for AMD. So again, more options here. If you've got something that is memory intensive, and if Graviton potentially isn't quite the right use case, there's definitely some options here around using Intel as well. Using Intel x86, but also moving to AMD as a platform as well. The R7As are SAP certified, and they're coming with some new capabilities as well on some of the latest AMD EPYCs, which is the AVX 512, bfloat 16 support, as well as VNNI support as well. Plus as well with the EPYCs, always on memory encryption.
Thanks
Awesome.
a lot, Matt. Thanks for sharing the information.
No worries. Hey, I'm just going down our list here. This next one's super interesting. Did you want to run us through some of our database releases? I'm just looking at the Aurora one.
Yeah, Aurora has a lot of new cool features coming on. The first one in our list is that now Amazon Aurora Global Database introduces database failover. And this is a global database failover, which means that this is a fully managed experience for performing a cross-region database failover to respond to any unplanned events such as regional outage, which is rare, but yeah, it can also be used for planning your disaster recovery. So it takes away a lot of operational overhead from failing over the global database cluster for a cross-region unplanned failover events. So you can pretty quickly convert your secondary region into the new primary region, like typically in a minutes, and you can also maintain the multi-region global database configuration.
Yeah, I love it. So many of our customers are talking to us about resiliency at the moment. It's a very, very big topic, as well as costs and as well as security, to be honest. But I'm just curious on that. How are you seeing customers in ANZ looking at this global database feature, and are they looking at using it in a certain type of way?
Yes, and you see that with the introduction of the new Melbourne regions, customers in ANZ can now build the failover patterns for the critical Aurora workload, which can leverage both the regions. So as you said, it can really help the customer to build on their resiliency.
Yes, I love that. With Melbourne, Melbourne's been a bit of a topic for our live streams in the last many months now, when we've been talking about some of the new features going into Melbourne since its original launch. But yeah, no, it's a really good call out. Now with Melbourne region being there, in Australia, local to Australia, we've got multiple regions now we can lean on for some of our customers' critical workloads.
Absolutely. And even the next one in our list is also from Aurora, and that is that now Amazon Backup, AWS Backup also supports Amazon Aurora for continuous backup. So it allows the specific point-in-time restoration for the customer's retention period up to 35 days.
Awesome. And that's all baked directly into AWS Backup now?
That's right, yes.
So I mean, just help me out here. Prior to this feature, what was the typical kind of pattern looking like for customers that were backing up their Aurora databases?
Yeah, Aurora always had an automated backup with a retention of 1 to 35 days. Or if customer wanted to go beyond that, they would take a snapshots, which will be stored in S3. What AWS Backup brings to the table is like a centralized service, which offers backup scheduling, retention management, backup monitoring. So all the existing features provided by AWS Aurora, they'll remain there. But the AWS Backup provides the more like a management capabilities, including the lifecycle policies, which can transition the backup to the low-cost storage tiers, so which becomes an add-on.
Gotcha. Yes, that makes perfect sense, and it gives that single pane of glass from a backup and a data protection standpoint, of course.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. Just looking at the last two that we've got here, I can see that there's we've enabled major upgrades for multi-AZ deployments on RDS Postgres.
Right, that's right. So that has been something which has been observation from the field, that the customers were taking a bit of more, facing a lot of operational challenges. So now they can do all the major upgrades, because now RDS Postgres, it supports the multi-AZ with a multi-standby option as well. So with this configuration, you could not only do the minor upgrades, but you can also do the major upgrades as well. Like you can go from 14.5 to 15 or 13.4 to 14. So you can do the automatic failovers typically under 35 seconds, which are 2x faster transactions as compared to the only with one standby. And being a multiple read replicas, you can have additional read capacity as well.
Yeah, that's right. I know I had a few customers that would love the feature, but they were just a little bit nervous of being effectively stuck on minor version upgrades because they were very, very keen to go from 13.4 all the way up to 14, for example. So this feature now is going to really unlock that pathway for upgrades into the major versions.
That's right.
Yeah, awesome. Remind me again, and maybe for some of our listeners that aren't quite, spending their days in database world anymore, or as much as maybe they used to. What's the use case for a readable standby?
Yes, like RDS give an option for readable standby, which means that it can serve as you can serve your read traffic while the database instance is unavailable, but it is a read-only copy, which can assist you in your large workloads or maybe for business reporting or data warehouse scenarios without you disturbing your main database copy.
Got it. And it's not putting any performance implications or impact into your production load.
That is absolutely right. Yes.
Awesome. Nice one, Rahul. Last but not least, I can see some notes here around extended support for MySQL and Postgres.
You're right, Matt. And some of the versions will be going end of the support soon. So Amazon RDS is providing the extended support for Amazon Aurora and for RDS database instances, which are running the MySQL 5.7 and Postgres 11 beyond the standard end of life. So AWS will provide the security fixes for next 3 years, but starting December 2023, customer will have to opt in for extended support through AWS console.
Got it. So if customers, as much as they want to upgrade and get their workloads and their applications onto a new supported version, if they've got some limitations there or they've got some off-the-shelf software that might be kind of binding them to one of those specific versions, they have some options now for extended end of life on RDS.
You're right. There are so many use cases where customer they want to, but they might be looking for a longer window for this upgrade. So this extended support will give them this window.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rahul. That was a really good download of Compute and Databases. I might invite Tom back on if Tom's still there. Tom, did you learn anything?
Yes, I've been fascinated to learn about the new instant types and like how the services kind of drilling down to help customer to save costs also. And to be honest, RDS engine upgrades non-trivial. Two of my customer kind of have a bit of lesson learned from there. I think that support is super amazing and it's needful. Yeah.
100%. Well, gents, thank you for a fun hour with us today. Have a splendid weekend. Have a very good rest of the month, and we will look forward to seeing everyone on the second Friday of next month.
Awesome.
Cool.
Happy Friday and
thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.